Hello, friends. Welcome to, oh man, it's not Mavs Party, is it? It's the first time of the season that I am actually hosting a group therapy. Welcome to Pod Mavericks Group Therapy. I am Kirk Henderson, editor-in-chief over at MavsMoneyball.com. As those of you who have listened and followed to this show for a long time, after most games, I try to host these live shows where you can come in here and talk basketball with another live person. My friend, one of my friends, ironically enough, a Bucks fan named Ben Thompson, talks a lot about touching grass and actually talking to real people and not spending so much time online. So here we are at about 10:45 on November 18th, Saturday night, talking a little basketball following the Dallas Mavericks losing to the Milwaukee Bucks 132 to 125. For those of you who might be a little, trepidatious about joining the show, there in the YouTube comments, there is a link to something called StreamYard, which allows you to join this show live. It's very easy. You can do it by phone. You can do it by your computer. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to. Shout out to my guy, Leo, who never shows his face. He's like Batman. And we can talk basketball till people are content. But because there's another game, I don't know, in about 20 hours, maybe there's not too much we really need to discuss. Currently, don't have anybody that have joined the show that wants to talk just yet. And that's sort of the nature of these things. Sorry for a little bit of a late start tonight. I had to write the recap for Mavs Moneyball because we had a bit of an scheduling snafu, and I had to write about 400 words in about 10 minutes. I'm technically not even done. So once I have some guests up here, I might quietly type and try to finish out this recap. I see my friend Micah has actually joined down there. So we're going to bring Micah up here first and hear what he has to say about tonight's game. Micah, welcome to the show once again. How are you?
Good, Kirk. How's everything going?
Not bad. Not bad. This is one of those games that I think if the Mavericks hadn't already won 9 times, I'd probably be mad. But they let it get away. They had a lot of things not go their way. And, some of these things aren't correctable. Like the Mavericks just aren't going to get bigger, for example. But is Derek Jones Jr. going to go 0 for 7? Is Grant Williams going to miss? Are the Mavericks going to miss 5 corner threes in a quarter? Open corner threes? I'm not super hung up on it. There's elements of this game I think fans are really mad about, but I'm just not there yet. So tell me where you are.
Look, I hate making this excuse. I really do, but that officiating is gross.
Okay. Talk me through it. Which parts really drove you nuts?
Well, to be honest, it's overall officiating in the NBA. And Chris talked about it in a space I was with with him, and I've just been noticing it around the league is what happened. Crazy idea. So they called up 13 G League officials to start officiating the NBA. And if you take a notice because I watch a whole lot of games, different teams and everything. So you start looking around the league, look at those crews, and you're like, I've never seen them ref a game before.
Yep.
Who the hell are they? So there's a lot of inexperience, and I don't think that they're ready to officiate the speed of an NBA game. It's almost like you would just it's one of those questions you like. If you had a chance to ask Adam Silver, like,
right,
Adam, let me ask you a question: would any coach think about starting 3 G League players for a big game? Then why is it a good idea for 3 G League officials?
Well, I thought there was like 2 or 3 stretches that weren't good for the refs tonight, but the Mavericks made sort of a business decision that if Giannis had a full head of steam, they weren't going to foul him. Where they did a much better job in the third quarter was basically throwing a second body at him earlier, which resulted in him having to sort of spin away and slowed down his momentum. So he didn't make quite as many paint shots, even though he made 14 of 14 at the rim, if I'm looking at this correctly. Where I was a little bit where I continue to be frustrated with the NBA officiating is not tonight's game. It's players don't get ref the same. I mean, Dame Lillard is a wonderful basketball player and a 10 of 10 foul merchant. And because he weighs 170 pounds, he gets refereed much differently than Luka Doncic. The further you are away from the basket, too, the more likely it is you're going to get a bullshit call. I mean, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic scoring or shooting 8 free throws to Dame's 10 is silly. That part is silly. That's not why they lost the game, but it was a little maddening to me. So I understand why you feel that way.
I mean, overall, these bigger teams are just going to give us problems. Now, at the same time, that being said, we also scored 125.
Yeah. Again.
And the reason for that is, and we scored a lot in the paint. The reason for that is people mistakenly think that that's a center issue.
Oh no, it's all the wings. It's guys that are like I found a friend of mine who's a Bucks Twitter guy. I sent him a gif of the King of Queens like doing like gesturing somebody because it's like the Mavs just lead people to the rim. They're like, hey, come score right here. It's wonderful.
All right. Yeah. So both teams, they face the same issues. Neither one of us can guard point of attack. And if you're not stopping dribble penetration, that's what leads to all the points in the paint, not as much as your center rotation.
Yep.
And Josh Green is just he's continuing to die on every screen, and he's just not giving you nothing. It's like,
yeah, it's
bad. I understand the start of his career, but at the same time, when
he's got to stop like every screen he sees is the first screen he's seen. That
right
hurts because he's just like, wait, what the fuck? Every time.
Yeah. And so sorry, like you said in the live, like if a 6'2" guy can get around the screen, I think you should be okay.
Yeah.
So he's progression isn't linear. That's often said.
He's taking a step back. That hurts.
But when you regress, that's an issue, and he is seriously regressed. He's just, I don't know. Like, it's getting so bad. I said jokingly, I'd damn near pack him up for Drummond and Craig right now. He's so bad. But I don't know. I don't know what they decide. I think, and it's not just that. It's like he's getting outplayed by a rookie and 2 vet men guys. Like, that's just, it's not a good look.
No, that part hurts. Well, man, thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed some of the other games while you were waiting for this. It seemed like the end of that Oklahoma City Warriors game was bananas. I can't wait to go watch that one.
Oh, they are so cooked. Oh man, I looked at that box score. Yeah, they're down bad. The dynasty is officially in that. They are. How we put this? I would say the 2022 Warriors were the 2010 Lakers, and now we're seeing the 2012 Lakers.
The corpse just out there. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Micah, for getting us started. I appreciate you joining as always.
Right. Have a good one, Kirk.
All right, got like 6 people waiting, which is fantastic, including a couple of folks who are regulars. So I'm going to bring somebody who isn't up here every game. It's my man, Tyron. How we doing, Tyron? Welcome to the show.
what's going on, Kirk?
I'm not normally. I'm not full of my normal piss and vinegar tonight. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, nah, same. And I just want to congratulate you. And I've also been missing for the exact same reason.
Congratulations to you too. Fantastic. Good for you.
Yeah. So thank you. But about the game tonight, kind of to piggyback off of what Micah said, what's been bothering me this season so far is like you said, no, everybody's not ref the same. And it bothers me that Derek Lively is getting the rookie treatment like he did tonight. Some of those foul calls that he got were bullshit, and we all know how integral he is to our team. And when referees just, you know, blow the whistle anytime he sneezes, it hurts our team. Like it's very frustrating to watch, and it's like he gets so many whistles, just to the point now where he's beginning to second guess himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that I feel like in the fourth quarter when he picked up those two quick fouls, I was just kind of like, "Fuck, there goes the game."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very hard to watch, especially when you got somebody like you said, Damian Lillard out there doing whatever the fuck, and never gets a whistle. Like I've seen LeBron James literally put his head down and plow through a guy who's had his feet planted the whole possession, and he never gets a call. It's hard to watch, and it's frustrating to watch because I don't want Derek Lively to start to lose uh, confidence or become, hesitant, start second guessing himself out there because he's such a good center and an integral part of this team. I don't want the NBA referees to stunt his growth. And I hate using the NBA referees as a talking point, but it's something that I've seen every game, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, and I would say like Lively has largely avoided a lot of the pitfalls I thought he would experience this year in terms of fouling trouble. But the flip side is now he's obviously so important that when he does get into foul trouble, it just hurts because he picked up his fourth, I think, with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. And I remember thinking like that's not going to work out for Dallas. Only the Mavericks actually managed to do okay. I mean, where things really went to hell in the handbasket was a fourth quarter stretch. I looked it up. Kyrie went out with 8 minutes left in the fourth. The Mavericks, they were up 109, 101. Luka hits a jumper to make it 111 to 101. The Mavericks didn't score again for 3 minutes. And at that point, the Bucks just made a parade. They hit some threes. Giannis went to the line. It's like, the Mavericks very easily could have won this game, and I think we would have been pretty excited. But it's just like there's just enough where a team that's significantly better than them, and I really do think the Bucks are significantly better than them. It 100%. Exposes you, and it hurts, and it's I know a lot of fans, like so many people, I get these messages. It's like I'm sick of Dwight Powell, and it's like, well, who else are they supposed to put in? Kid's not going to play Rashawn Holmes. He's just not. So it's like this is where we are. We got to dance with who brought us.
I really, really would like to know what's up with that. Because
me too.
I mean, he hasn't looked terrible.
Not any diff, like what does Powell like? Powell, I get the off. I just don't know. I don't think I'm the smartest basketball person at all, but like, I don't get what Dwight is giving you that guy, like the difference in the results. Is it going to be that drastic? Can we see it? That's my main thing.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to see it because I've been one of those people who's been wanting Rashawn Holmes on this team for a long time. I've been a fan of his for a long time, so I actually watched him while he's playing in Sacramento, and I can tell you firsthand, Rashawn Holmes has put some of the top NBA bigs like in prison.
On offense, because he's pretty amazing on offense with the weird shit he does.
Defensively speaking, I've literally watched him live put some of the NBA's elite bigs in jail. So I don't know what happens. It's kind of one of those mysteries. Maybe we'll find out one day on the old man in the three. Who knows?
Hey, that's a good point.
But my second thing is Josh Green. And I think things are going to change with the old guard kind of moving out and the new era starting to come in. You don't pay these young guys all that money based off of one season. You just don't do it.
I mean, percentage of cap, though, he's not making a ton. I mean, he's going to be making $13 million when the cap is like 140. Like that is kind of what it is. It's not a bargain. That's not what I mean. But the Mavericks, one of the things they finally got in a pretty good place with is they have like tradable guys. tradable contracts, where it's not like you have Luka and Kristaps and then 3 guys that make minimum deals. Josh Green's young enough to where, let's say we're still sick of him in 40 games or in 60 games when the season's over. Somebody will take a bite at that because they got like there was, some of these NBA like cap guys were expecting him to get as much as 18 to 20. I mean, and I just like that would have killed me. I didn't want to say that out loud and make anyone angry, but that would have hurt me. And because I still believe Green can play better than this. But I've never been like the big Josh Green believer. Yeah. It's like he's fine. He's functional. Yeah. So I don't know. The pay is not. It doesn't really bother me at this point because it's kind of him on the Mavericks is better than him not on the Mavericks and the Mavericks replacing him with nothing. It's just they have to figure out what will work for him, and he's out there running around. He's just like getting a great run in. It's painful.
I think he needs to figure out what works for him first. And the only reason why I brought pay into it, I'm not saying he's not worthy of being paid, but it's just kind of like we all saw what happened.
It's weird when you see that much money. It is weird.
It is, and it's just kind of like the whole Jordan Poole of it all, right? Like, he came from the G League, landed in Golden State and was balling his ass off. Then he got the bag and then tried to challenge Steph Curry on the court. Like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
That's right.
Yeah, I just think we need to take a step back on and spend more time evaluating guys. And I think that's been one of the Mavericks. Maybe they'll work on it now. I don't know, because the Mavericks have been trending in the right direction as far as the front office goes. 100%. But that's pretty much all I have tonight. We lost this game. I'm not too upset about it. The Milwaukee Bucks, they've been having their issues, but they're still the fucking Milwaukee Bucks. Like,
right.
I'm not mad at it. Tomorrow's gonna be a tough game also. You really can't get mad at the season that we're having thus far. Because again, nobody expected it.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I start hearing Jason Kidd get praise from the same people who were shitting on him a year ago, including myself, like,
sure.
Can't argue with we were competitive tonight, and that's all I can ever ask for.
Yeah, so. I mean, I think he maybe the only thing I would, and this is the only criticism I would level at him because I think they did a nice job on Giannis in the third quarter, which was like schematically different. Yeah. I wish he would have called a timeout a little earlier, but he was trying to buy Kyrie time. He's trying to buy because Irving was cooking with gas, and it's like he needed to get him rest, but. I just wish they would have called a timeout and drawn up a play for Luka, done something, but he hoards those timeouts, and it's every coach is like this. It's hard to get too bitchy about it. Like, did they use their challenge? That might have been the only thing where I was like, whatever. Though it's Kid was not the problem tonight at all.
No, he's not. And then with what we have, when you play these big guys that are going to put their head down and bulldoze down the lane. What are you gonna do? Zion, Giannis, what are you gonna do? So they were competitive tonight. We lost, whatever. We're still 9-4. We're out to an amazing start. Just hope these guys can keep rolling. So
thanks for joining, man. Congratulations again. Get some rest.
Likewise, man.
I will never get sleep again. I've just decided and my kid's even a sleeper, but it's like after he woke up and I fed him from 3:30 to 4. Not bad, half an hour.
Yeah.
But then I was just up. I'm like, God dang, come on, self.
It's hard going back to sleep, man.
I don't know. The women who do, because the burden, my wife is I'm trying to help her, but I don't know how these women do this. This stuff's hard.
Nah, my wife is in there pumping right now, man. God bless her.
That's right, man. All right, we'll talk soon. You have a good one.
All right, man. You too.
Okay, let's go to Brian. Actually, you know what? Before we bring Brian up, I have to shill. Hit the like button on the stream. Helps me out. Subscribe. Also helps Josh and I out. Tell your friends to join this, the touch grass movement, where this is the closest thing we can get to until I work up the balls to have a real live show in Dallas and get booed at and yelled by real people. Maybe we'll do it though. But I appreciate y'all hanging out. It's a little, nobody likes to lose, but we're going to have fun anyway. So Brian, what's going on, man?
Kirk, how are you, brother?
Okay. A little vodka tonic here.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. I wish. I don't have anything to drink right now, but I'll probably go make something later. But on to the game. Joshua Benjamin Green, your time is up.
His middle name is Benjamin?
Benjamin, your time is up.
But we're gonna call him Benny until he's good again. He's Benny Green.
I've seen enough with Kirk. I gave him 10 games and I gave him an extra 3. He's had one passable game and he's been ass the other 12. He's been thoroughly outplayed by Dante Exum in at least 7 of those games. I'm done, man. I'm tired.
I mean, when I'm in a bad mood, I think of him as him and his really big Easter Island shaped head. And it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing out here? You're just running around. The screen thing makes me actually upset because getting over screens is a thing he has been taught and he is not doing. You know? I know he's being taught.
I don't know how, in one hand, like people that watch the team and pundits and media people can be like, yeah, Josh Green's a nice young piece. He's a nice 3-and-D guy. He's a solid defender or whatever. And then like in the same breath say, I don't know what's going on with Dallas's point of attack defense. All summer long they said this. And it's like, okay, either you think he's good and he's the fucking point of attack defender, or you don't, and you know that what you're saying is bullshit. We haven't been able to reliably put him on any – we tried, but we haven't been able to reliably put him on any of, like, the other team's lead ball handlers because we know that one screen and he's cooked. We know that all it takes is 5 seconds off ball, and he's just – his attention span is cooked. He's, like, running around. He's diving into the paint on drives from the corner. When Lively's down,
who is he helping?
Lively and Grant on the other side. They don't need your fucking help.
No, it's and again, guys, like some people are probably like, "What are you talking about? These are NBA athletes. They can help and recover." Green's not even like, and let's say he's not even diving into the paint. He's like 18 inches off where he ought to be, and in the NBA. It's not to go, Al Pacino in Any Given Sunday, but like the inches matter. Like it matters when you're covering guys, particularly when you're a short defender anyways. He's always a step late despite being fast and frenetic.
And even when he gets there on time, man, these offensive players know all they got to do is raise their eyebrows and he's going to be 5 feet in the air and you've got a free shot because he jumps at every fucking thing. It's so annoying. I'm so sick of it. I'm so tired. He and Pat Will have been having an ass off all season long. We can just swap straight up. Throw in a pig and a swap. I don't care. Go get Caruso, get Drummond. Like, I'm just get Maxey out of here too. I'm no more scary ass shooters around 2 elite playmakers. I'm sick of it. I'm done. I'm done with Josh. I'm tired of him.
Wow.
I'm so done.
Wow. Maybe I should have stuck to my guns a season longer and I'd be right. Cause I always caved. I caved.
But it's because we all believed in the glimpses, man. Like we were all sold when they gave him the extension. I had been yelling for weeks at that point. Why hasn't this extension been done already? Mm-hmm. And now I look fucking stupid. I thought that we had a steal of a deal. I thought he got underpaid. He's not worth the money that he's getting right now.
Well, I mean, it's an extension, so he's technically still on his rookie contract.
Well, slated to get right, exactly. Yeah. So that's annoying. I'm at the point, quite honestly, where it's like all of his minutes can be split up between Dante Exum and Omax. That's where I'm at right now. Like Omax can go out there and run around too. At least I know he's not going to get caught up on every fucking screen that comes his way. He's going to be a man and get around it and actually stick like to his matchup and get a good contest in. Josh is I've had enough, man. I've seen enough. I'm tired. Luka is working too hard. Kyrie is working too hard. Lively and Grant are working too hard. Tim is working entirely too hard to carry the lineups when Luka isn't out there, and it's Kyrie and Tim and Josh and like Dwight and whatever other fourth person that's in there. Like what? I'm tired of it.
You're tired. I made fun of Josh Green's head. Now I need to make fun of Luka for a second because number one, I think the mustache and beard thing Luka has going works. I really do. I think he needs to like grow some mutton chops, like my man Brandon, who's coming up here next. Brandon, you're going to show us your beard. Luka needs to grow what you have. But one of the things Luka needs to stop doing is he looks like a kid like on an AAU team that has a 7 a.m. basketball game and he's like struggling to get up because it's like he needs a fresh cut. So like when his beard is mangy, his mustache is mangy, and his head is mangy.
His fade is always too high. His fade is always too high. It's way too high.
Well, with this beard look, I'm okay. Like it'd be fine, but like right now, like he's got bedhead like nobody's business, and he looks like I would be so like if the Mavericks had won tonight, I'd planning on coming here and being like, you guys got taken to school by a guy wearing a white undershirt, like a loose white undershirt, not a form fit. Like it was like the pit. It makes me think of like Hoosiers where they're running the picket fence and all these like just is it like Luka looked hilarious tonight. My wife was like, why is his armband that big? And Greg, this is not insulting Luka. I love Luka to pieces. It's just his look. He does not look like one of the world's best basketball players. And it is so funny to me every time I see it.
No, I feel like he put the shirt on specifically for Dame. Because if I remember correctly, in his second year, he beat the shit out of the Blazers, randomly wearing a shirt under his jersey. I feel like
that has something
to do with it because I don't know why.
Matt Hirsch,
that's the only connection I can make.
This is a great comment. Luka in Milwaukee for one day and went native. That is
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, nah. Like as soon as he started sweating and that scalp got wet, it started looking like I was like, brother, is your hair thinning up? No, come on, we're not doing that, man.
Well, no, because my goal for Luka and his hair's too thin because he's losing it up here. I wanted him to have like the SEC frat bro haircut where it's real long and bushy and going with the beard where he looks. Because it's like for a moment he looked like Travis Kelce. Because like Travis Kelce with the mustache, where we're like that man is turning off his body cam every time. You know,
Travis mustache has gone like full cock.
Yes, it's
I don't
creepy.
know if you want to go that far.
Like I don't want Luka to have that. Like I want Luka to have look like Brad Davis in 1984. Like I want something absolutely just so absurd. Like, and I know I'm completely off
just engulfing his mouth.
Yeah, something of it because you know, and for those of y'all who don't know what, like, Google Brad Davis Mavericks, and he just looks astoundingly awesome. Nobody looks like this anymore in the NBA. Everybody's we got arm sleeves, we look cool. Nobody looks like insanely stupid, and that's what I want. I need it.
No, Brad had a mini broom on his face. So that's funny.
That's amazing. Brian, you got anything else before I move on?
Hey man, be kind to Derek Lively. He went up against two of the best bigs in the league tonight.
That's true.
I've seen some tweets where it's like, I don't know, man. Lively, brother.
We're talking
consider
about
the contact.
He's 12 years old. He'll be fine.
Be nice to Derek Lively.
That's right.
Your two stars showed up and played together. So I don't want to see nobody tweeting and yelling at them, talking about, oh, how could you lose this game? Oh, these two free throws.
See, I'm glad I didn't tweet out a lot of my thoughts because in that first half, and I just don't say anything anymore because I'm afraid of the Kyrie Irving accounts and the everybody that gets mad when they're like, Kyrie Irving. He was really bad again and then hit 15 of his next 20 shots.
Yeah, no, there were I
was like, what the shit is this?
Like he was at least being aggressive, so I was giving him that. The shots just weren't falling in the first half.
Yeah.
Luka had a couple stretches.
Mm-hmm. No, Luka was bad.
To close the first half, and then late in the fourth, where I was like, brother, you're trying to lose us this game. Cut that shit out.
Whereas like
get back on defense. Then the calls aren't coming. Stop yelling about it. Don't worry about it.
Some of the shots Kyrie made tonight, like that one off the loose ball, was absurd.
Oh yeah,
where he crossed the middle of the lane. Oh my god, I love watching that shit. Anyway, thanks so much, Brian. We'll talk tomorrow. I hope.
Thanks for having me, dude. Yes, sir.
Okay, coming up next is Brandon. Brandon, you gotta model a beard for us here because yours is good. Like mine's, I trim mine too much because it's itchy. But like we need, do you know what I mean with the Luka beard? Don't you think Luka would look like both ridiculous and great with a big beard?
Luka got to own it like Gardner Minshew does. He made the mustache popular.
Yes, yeah. I mean, and Luka, he's doing good. I'm really glad with the facial hair weirdness. It's a long season, and you know, like you've been a Mavs fan forever. The Dirk Nowitzki haircut variety is a really underrated part of Dirk's legacy. It's like you Google Dirk Nowitzki haircuts, you get some crazy stuff. Like my wife never once has said like she saw him at the Hall of Fame ceremony. She's like, this is the best he's ever looked because all of his earlier haircuts are kind of heinous, and it's great. I would love for Luka to go through the same trajectory. What do you got for us tonight, my man?
Yeah, man, Brad Davis. He's a Cowboy true and through. University of Wyoming had the mustache, went to Dallas, kept the mustache. So I followed him from college.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I'm
gonna pull up an image of Brad Davis while we're talking. So tell me what you're thinking though. What do you think about tonight's game?
Man, you know what? I'm just thinking about the season, and I think a lot of it, not a lot of it, but some of it goes back on Luka's leadership ability. Because think about some of the stuff that the Mavs could have corrected that leaders would have been on their players' heads about, like Derek Lively had a moving screen, and some of the wild jump passes that Josh made, and just some of the stuff that Dallas could have corrected. I think if Luka would have kind of got in their ear and said, "Hey guys, we got to clean this up," but it just seems like Luka isn't that vocal type of leader. To me, it seems like he's a leader with the ball in his hand, as opposed to maybe like a Kobe he won't never be a Kobe or like a Chris Paul, somebody that's more vocal, that's going to be on those guys' heads about stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of that stuff I feel like was correctable. And one thing that stood out is like it was in the fourth quarter and Luka didn't get a call, and he's playing defense, but he's also complaining to the ref, and it's like 1 minute left.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're calling out the referees, and it's only like a 5-point lead, and you're complaining, but you're also playing defense. That being so long in the league, it comes a time when you got to get past that.
Yeah,
that goes back to his leadership style. So I'm kind of hoping that Luka develops some, because right now I don't see a lot of it that I see it as a phenomenal basketball player, but as like a floor general, I see a lot of stuff that can change in his game.
Yeah, and that's like they've talked a lot about how Grant Williams has assumed that role.
Yeah,
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I also think it's more like you want it to, and maybe Grant Williams really is one of their best three players, but like you want that guy, like Jason Terry, I think did that a little bit for the Mavericks back in the day. And then Jason Kidd did for sure when he was on the team. Dirk never was really that guy. So it's like, you got to find somebody that gets him going and then can really pull them in. I understand what you mean. This was one of those games where a couple of things go differently and maybe you feel different. So it's like when the mistakes that you're thinking of and that you've mentioned just a few seconds ago just stand out all a little more.
And one thing I noticed, and it could have been before the half, when Powell was defending high and he was on Dame had problems with that size. If you think about it, Dame didn't warm up until, Powell was off of him and he was being guarded by smaller players.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like Kidd had did that intentionally to put size around Dame, because I believe it was either Lively and Powell. It was Powell and somebody else had some size on him that was in Dame's face, and he was having problems with that. And it seems like whenever Kidd went away from it, intentionally or unintentionally, that's kind of when Dame got warm. So I'm wondering if Kidd's going to be able to recognize some of the stuff like that they could have done better.
I mean, this game has a lot of tape if they actually go back and view it that I think they'll learn some lessons from. And I think this was Josh and I's show. It's already bleeding together. But the Mavericks didn't run a lot of actions in the fourth quarter. There's a lot of my turn, your turn. And granted, Kyrie scored almost every time, so it's not a complaint. But the actions that they've been running were getting great shots. The Mavericks just didn't hit them. So I would like to – there's lessons learned from this game. I see Brad Townsend has his post up. He got some good post-game quotes from the team. This is one that they will wish to have back, but then they, frankly, they need to go close out. Who are we playing tomorrow? We're playing Sacramento, 7-4. Who they have about a 500 road record right now, so that they have a chance to get one back.
Yeah. And hopefully they'll bounce back. It seems like they gotta. They're pretty consistent this year with, lose one, win one, lose one. So hopefully they'll get that game back.
Right.
I'm just hoping that they, kind of look at tape and see what they could have done better. But I don't know, man. I was looking at Josh Green and, looking at that jump pass and kind of like how he's, kind of all over the place. Is just like, I just feel like his raw talent out there. It's not something that, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get Josh Green. So I would keep him on the roster, but to me, Josh Green would be right back in cleanup minutes. If he's not outperforming Exum or heck, even Seth, because you can't really say that he's giving you more than what Seth would, shooting wise, or just his contribution overall on the court. So with him
I
being
like that take. I like that take because I really feel like the Mavericks have given Green a lot of rope, and he hasn't. They need to take a step back and say, "All right, let's make he deserved the chance, but he's not made enough with the chance.
Right.
So let's let somebody else who's earned a shot get some more minutes."
I think they're keeping him in there based off of hope, hoping that he can evolve into what they wanted him to be. Because think about it like this. Too. They hoped that Jalen Brunson would turn into the player that he was. But the thing is, that dude was number one whenever he came out of NCAA. He was like top dog, scoring and everything. Josh Green was just, a Duke player. So you're hoping that a Duke player does
Arizona
well in the NBA, but it's not. They're trying to make something fit that's not happening. So they didn't really, if you think about it, he didn't get developed in summer league. He was thrown into the league, thrown into big minutes.
Yeah.
And kind of like with Hardy. Hardy was able to develop a little bit and it's starting to show, but Josh was thrown into the big game. And I don't know with him being Josh, if it was conducive to his ability to, play better. And to me, it seems like it's not. So, giving him cleanup minutes and let him, slowly inch his way back into the lineup would be the best fit. Because, I wouldn't get rid of him.
I probably reference this movie every 20 games, but I think a lot about the movie The Replacements with Keanu Reeves. And there's like a scene where they're all talking about quicksand as a sports concept. And Josh Green is in quicksand right now. Nothing he can do works. And he's got to find a way out of it. And I think Kidd has been pretty brilliant as a coach about putting players in positions to succeed. I really, really think that. Carlisle kind of, when he didn't like a guy, you were dead to him. But Kidd seems to kind of go back to the well with certain guys. And I hope that if they did decide to reduce his minutes, they would then put him in those positions where he can get that confidence back, because it's painful out there. Man, he looks like a quarterback who's had his bell rung too many times and is like looking over his shoulder, like hearing footsteps. It sucks.
Like he feels, it seems like he's shooting a lot more. Like he feels like he needs to shoot, so he's shooting out of desperation. But you know what? And that's a good point about Carlisle, because I feel like he micromanaged timeouts, he micromanaged players, but in some aspects it worked. And I feel like Josh is one of the people he would have to micromanage to get him to play successfully, because he's shown that given the ability to go out there and play at his own pace, kind of with the flow of the game, it's not working because he can't find his pace. The tempo is it's too different from him. He tries to play upbeat faster than the game, and it's not working for him. Kind of like you were saying about Hardy in the past, he was playing faster than it was. He was kind of out of control. And Josh, he's still kind of out of control, and it's unfortunate because I don't think it's going to help him much. He's not developing a shot. He's not developing, any inside-outside game or anything.
Yeah, just kind of running around, getting cardio.
Running around. And just one more thing, Kirk, man, I feel like the Bucks were able to adjust in the second half. Giannis started taking it more to the – granted, it's Giannis, and there's not much they can do against a guy that can do 40 at any time, but – when it wasn't falling on the, on the threes, they started working them on the inside, and that started, Dallas started to, having to play them on the inside and the outside. Once again, Dallas showed an inability to play on the inside. It's just constantly they're driving and they're having to kick it out to three.
Yeah.
So I feel like Milwaukee's like, I'm not even worried about you getting in the paint. If you think about it, they didn't keep a lot of people in the paint.
No, because like Lopez and Giannis were basically swatting everything that felt like an inside shot. That was really tough. They had the Mavericks thinking about that.
They had the Mavericks thinking about it. And
like Dwight Powell was terrified. He was like, I am not going to put up this shot.
Yeah. He kicked it out. And yeah, it's typical Dwight Powell, right? But I don't know. Hopefully they develop Lively into some type of paint presence. He's young and, there's plenty of time left. So, hopefully he'll get a little hook shot or, send Shaq down there with him or something.
Well, man, thanks so much for hanging out.
All right. Thank you, Kirk.
All right. We're going to go to Krishna. Krishna, I am going to bring you up, and then I'm going to have to go pretty quickly because I hear my son, the baby, screaming loudly.
All right.
So what do you got for us?
Nothing. This was a This was a brutal night for me, Kirk. I watched this game, and then I was watching the Stars game, and I don't know which was worse. The Stars were up 3-0. They let 6 goals in to lose 6-3. Pretty brutal. But, it's a long season. I agree with everyone that Josh Green has not been good. I agree with Brandon. I think Josh just needs to sit at some point, reduce his minutes. It feels like he's overthinking everything, and he's in his head. He's far too much in his head. Luka, it's still the immaturity stuff, and Grant has been really cold shooting it, which is a problem. But I think a lot of it is some of the stuff, that kid talked about in 22 when he said, "Oh, this is a young team." This is really a young team.
Mm-hmm.
This is a team with a lot of inexperience, and you're relying on them to win you games. And sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. That's just what happens, and you live and die by that sword in a way. And it's brutal, but I also think, like you've talked about and Josh has talked about, not everything gets fixed in one season. Like, you look at Minnesota and you say, "Oh, why can't we be like them?" But Minnesota really didn't make any moves or major roster changes, and the Mavs did in a way. And I think part of that is just adjusting to this. This is a game where, last year, I think about last year's Milwaukee game where, Dorian and Maxey played really great on Giannis. But those guys are not here anymore. They're not at the level they are, even if they were. And maybe Dorian, he seems like he's bounced back really well, which I'm happy for. But you got to move forward in a way. And the one thing I do somewhat trust with this front office is it seems like they have an understanding of when they need to move off of players and get some residual value for, which is something I felt like we were so frustrated by in the past few years. So, even seeing how this entire season goes, I'm not so worried about individual games, right?
Yeah.
I think it becomes
you're
concerning.
9-4.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's good that you're winning games that you're supposed to, right? These losses become really brutal when you're losing games like Washington.
Yes.
And you're not. You're beating teams that you're supposed to. So that makes a positive. And look, it's small steps, right? Like, I think we all want to win the championship this year, but inevitably 29 teams are not going to win it. And I think it's sort of a reversion of that is terrible. 32% from 3. That's like
Grant Williams having a rough go from 3 lately, even though he's 4 of 10 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what happens. It's not like Tim even shot terrible. Like 4 of 10 from 3 for most people, it's not
pretty
horrible.
amazing.
Like, that's 40%. But
yeah,
when you live and die by it, you died by it tonight, and that's going to happen. And I think part of it is just you have guys like Lively who needs to develop, and you have got a guy like Omax who is going to take a while to develop. And I think that's what's frustrating. And I get it. Everyone, we want to make the trade. We want to get the quick fix now. And I'm not saying you don't have to have that belief, or you don't want to have that. I think it's frustrating, but I think it's going to take time. And it's 82 games, man. Like, I think in 21-22, I don't think any of us would have seen the Mavericks getting to the WCF at all.
No, that's true.
And so we just got to see where it goes. And I think if at the end of this, it's just as brutal, then I'll hold my hands up and say, look, I was wrong. But I've got some faith. I think there can be some adjustments and changes. And I think there's been a lot more positive in this time than negative. So I'm not going to hold you up too long. Hopefully tomorrow goes much better. And I think the Kings will play a little bit more into the Mavericks' hands. They're not as big as the Bucks are. So I think that helps, but brutal back-to-back.
All right, man. Thanks for hanging out.
That's it. Yeah. Take care, Kirk.
All right. Guys, like Krishna said, we'll be back tomorrow night. Josh and I will be back probably normal time. I would guess 9:30 for a 6:30 start time. I'll schedule those. I'm really bad. I'm getting really bad about guessing times for these, but I'll do my best. And then, usually the live show, this one is about 15 to 20 minutes after that show ends. So I'll have those up and ready to go. Head on over to MavsMoneyball.com. You'll see my recap, which I wrote in about 10 minutes. So hopefully it's not total garbage. And we'll have some other posts up. Everybody be good. Go Mavs.